In AD 203, within Roman North Africa, Saint Perpetua lived between ordinary devotion and mounting pressure, her faith forming quietly in Carthage before imprisonment, where expectation narrowed. Daily routines tightened, and attention settled on prayer without seeking signs or assurances beyond steady trust. Her early commitment did not emerge from spectacle, but from consistent practice, shared instruction, and a calm resolve shaped inside the Christian community of Carthage, where belief unfolded through listening and endurance rather than argument. Long before confinement brought faith into sharper, unavoidable focus. When arrest came, Saint Perpetua entered a Carthage prison whose stone corridors compressed time and sound, an environment that sharpened interior awareness, allowing prayer to continue without relief, distraction, or comfort, as external control stripped life down to watchfulness and inward discipline. Within that confined space, daily rhythms slowed, conversation softened, and expectation lingered without definition, creating a setting where inner images could surface naturally, not summoned or forced, but arising as prayer continued under pressure in the early 3rd century. It was during this period, still in AD 203, that Saint Perpetua experienced a dream remembered without embellishment, emerging quietly from rest rather than ceremony, its significance unfolding slowly, leaving her attentive rather than triumphant, receptive rather than eager to interpret meaning. The vision did not interrupt fear with comfort, nor replace uncertainty with explanation, but appeared as a structured image, steady and contained, allowing perception without command, as if the dream itself respected the discipline already formed within prison walls. Later preserved by Tertullian, the account remained measured in tone, suggesting that what mattered was not the strangeness of imagery, but the order it revealed, an inner ascent perceived during captivity, shaped by faith practiced long before chains defined her days. Saint Perpetua's attention, even then, rested less on escape than alignment, her inner posture reflecting years of prayer that trained her to observe rather than grasp, to receive without demanding certainty, allowing meaning to arrive gradually within restraint. The prison in Carthage remained unchanged after the dream, guards unmoved and routines intact, reinforcing that the experience altered no external conditions, yet quietly reoriented perception, placing present hardship within a broader, unseen horizon. As AD 203 continued toward its unresolved outcome, Saint Perpetua carried the memory without explanation, allowing silence to hold it, a vision not yet unfolded, waiting within faith shaped by discipline, confinement, and a patience unwilling to rush toward conclusion. Within the prison at Carthage, AD 203, Saint Perpetua's dream unfolded with clarity rather than comfort, presenting a narrow ladder rising upward, bordered by sharp edges, an ascent requiring attention, balance, and resolve, reflecting discipline already formed through sustained prayer under restraint. At the base of the ladder, the vision placed an imposing dragon, not advancing, but occupying space with weight and presence, demanding recognition without confrontation, as if the obstacle tested readiness rather than threatening harm, standing between ground and ascent. Saint Perpetua did not interpret the image aloud, yet the movement within the dream was deliberate, a step taken only after attention steadied, suggesting that fear yielded not to force, but to ordered trust, shaped long before imprisonment narrowed her world. The ladder's height did not invite haste. Each rung implied patience, mirroring the measured endurance practiced daily within Roman North Africa's detention system, where waiting refined resolve and inner freedom learned to operate without altering chains or conditions. In the dream, Ascent occurred without spectators or acclaim, reinforcing restraint rather than triumph, as if the vision honored silence, allowing courage to emerge quietly, carried upward through obedience rather than resistance, framed by stillness instead of release. The dragon remained unmoving as St. Perpetua passed, an image later recalled by Tertullian with reserve, emphasizing that the challenge lay not in conflict, but in crossing faithfully, acknowledging danger without granting it authority over direction. No voice explained the vision, and no promise concluded it, leaving meaning suspended, much like life inside the Carthage prison, where each day repeated without assurance, training attention to remain present rather than anticipate rescue or vindication. St. Perpetua's spiritual discipline met its test here, not by removing suffering, but by reframing it, positioning endurance as movement and confinement as passage, where inner ascent occurred alongside unaltered physical restraint. The vision's structure resisted embellishment, remaining practical and ordered, as though designed for remembrance rather than display, reinforcing a faith shaped by action and patience, capable of holding meaning without resolving it immediately. As AD 203 progressed toward judgment, St. Perpetua carried the image quietly, the ladder and dragon resting in memory, not as escape, but as orientation, sustaining composure while circumstances remained unchanged, awaiting an outcome still unseen. After the events of AD 203 in Carthage, St. Perpetua's vision endured not as spectacle, but as remembered orientation, preserved within Christian memory as a quiet testimony, where inner ascent mattered more than visible outcome or immediate explanation. The Church did not frame the dream as instruction, but as witness, allowing the ladder and dragon to remain images held in reverence, suggesting that faith sometimes clarifies direction without altering circumstances, a lesson received rather than proclaimed. Tertullian's careful preservation of the account reflected restraint, emphasizing fidelity over interpretation, ensuring the vision remained rooted in its setting. Roman Carthage, early 3rd century, without being stretched into doctrine or rhetorical certainty. St. Perpetua's legacy formed through this measured remembrance, where courage appeared steady, not dramatic, and where endurance shaped identity, allowing later generations to recognize holiness through composure, not conquest. Within the Church's shared memory, the latter was never described as an escape, nor the dragon as defeated, reinforcing a pattern where meaning emerged through passage, not removal, aligning spiritual maturity with perseverance practiced under pressure, rather than resolution achieved through force. Across time, the vision remained linked to AD 203, Carthage and imprisonment, grounding its impact in a real place and moment, preventing abstraction and sustaining the belgical clarity that guarded its authenticity within Christian tradition. St. Perpetua's dream quietly shaped how suffering and hope could coexist, offering orientation without promises, allowing believers to see endurance as movement and restraint as strength, without demanding interpretation or emotional display. The Church's memory preserved silence around the vision's end, resisting closure, inviting contemplation instead of conclusion, and maintaining a space where faith could recognize direction even when outcomes remained hidden. In this way, St. Perpetua's witness continued, not through repetition of imagery, but through the posture it revealed, a faith capable of ascent without escape, clarity without certainty, and courage without spectacle. As generations looked back to Carthage and AD 203, the vision endured as quiet alignment, leaving a final impression of measured trust, where the last word belonged not to explanation, but to steady, reverent silence.